My name is Jessica Cotton and I will be presenting on social media marketing today. Let's dive in by asking, what is social media? Social media is either a website or an application that enables users to create and share content, which ultimately allows them to participate in social networking. A few prime examples here in America today are Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and many, many more. So let's look at some statistics. In 2008, only 10% of Americans had at least one active social media account, whereas today in 2020, that number has tremendously grown up to 79%. So when we look at that, that's over 3/4 of Americans that have at least one active social media account, which is very, very high. So when it comes to actual marketing through social media, what are some pros and cons of that businesses can consider? So let's look at some pros. Some pros of social media marketing include being able to promote your brand where your consumers and your customers exist. A lot of your consumers are going to have a phone in their hand, multiple times throughout the day. They're going to be actively using their social media accounts. So in a way, that's where they exist today. Technology has taken over, and so it allows you really just to communicate and advertise to your customers in an easy, convenient way because they're already there. Another pro to social media marketing is it allows businesses to build a community, just a community relationship among them and their consumers. We see that a lot on social media, just the interaction between the two. In some ways that businesses do that are through videos like live streams where consumers can interact a little bit more, contests and giveaways to where it's just really the engagement between the two, the business and the consumer, and then all of the consumers together as well. And another thing that it allows businesses to do is just grow their network exponentially, and that is huge. That's a primary goal of most businesses, is just to expand their amount of consumers, which is ultimately going to drive their revenue up, which is ultimately going to drive their profit up as well. So that's very huge, and it takes little to work on their part. In a way that happens is through people posting their products and people posting their brand, friends asking about it, and then all they have to do really is just recommend or share your link to your business, and it's just that simple, and then everything just begins to grow exponentially from there with little to no work from you. What are some cons of social media marketing? So let's talk about a con more on the business side of things. And this is something that some businesses worry about, which is negative content and reviews. It happens, it's going to happen, but let's discuss some ways that we can kind of combat that and make sure it doesn't really affect our business in a negative way. First and foremost, go into social media marketing expecting some negative content and review. At the end of the day, it's going to happen. You can't make every single person happy. So it's kind of just an expectation right off the bat. Number two is just learning from the negative content and reviews that are posted. There's going to be maybe a little bit of truth to it, even if it's, out of the ordinary, or maybe you don't completely agree with it. Dissect it, analyze it, reflect on it, and see if there's anything that you can change to better your business or your brand. Number three, address the content openly and make sure that you fix it. So if somebody says something negative about your business or your brand or your product or your service, just make sure that you get with them ASAP, openly to the public. That way everybody who sees the negative content can see that you are addressing it and handling it correctly. And then again, after that, guys, just make sure that it's fixed. Make sure if you're in the wrong, bend over backwards for that customer. Make sure that you get it fixed and really figure out why they were unhappy, get to the root of it. That way, one, they will, continue to try your product and try your service or use it. And then they'll also, change their mindset a little bit and refer you to other guys as well. And then the fourth thing is just continue to promote positivity even when the little negative things pop up. You don't want the negative to be overwhelming. You don't want that to be all everybody sees on social media on your page. So just make sure that you continue to promote the positive things, including positive images, videos, testimonials from your customers about your service or your product that you're offering, and then solid statistics that back everything up. Alrighty, and then let's move on. And this is more of a con on the consumer side of things. and that is the privacy and security of the consumer themselves. This is definitely a concern, and it even goes to show, 40% of consumers at one point actually deleted at least one of their social media accounts in relation to this concern. So what can companies do? In such a technology-driven world, it is how things have become. And so just on the business side of things, make sure you're always taking responsibility for it. As far as just advocating for your consumers and your customers, just advocate for their privacy and their security at all times. So that brings us to our conclusion of, is social media marketing more beneficial or more harmful to a business? Using the pros and cons and the statistics that have been shown with us today, it's definitely a lot more beneficial than harmful. The pros definitely outweigh the cons. Even though 40% deleted at least one of their social media accounts, a whopping 79% still have at least one active social media account, which says a lot. And also, it's just a very efficient and effective way to reach your consumers if you are a business. It takes much less time, much less work, and it's just a much more efficient way to do so. So here to end things off are a couple of quotes by Aditya Kathodia, which was an author of one of the articles that I used, which say the survival of any business in modern times is largely dependent on how they overcome old prejudices and attain healthy adaptability of technical change. The other one was, high time you modify your thinking and transform your business plans to achieve optimum benefits. So this is just her talking in relation to social media marketing and just how beneficial it is and how important it is for businesses today in 2020. Alrighty guys, well, that is all. I hope you guys enjoyed this presentation. Thank you all for listening.